We've got a perfect day for baseball. It's the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox.
There's Jimmy Shorts, and Jimmy, this is going to be a good matchup today.
The last time these two teams...
Welcome to the Rounding Third podcast, a show so good that a Sox and Yankees fans set aside their differences to talk shop for the greatest place in the world, the Slugfest City. I am joined by my co-host Kevin. And Kevin, let's be honest, we got a little reckless with our filler words last week, didn't we? But otherwise, how was the podcast Maidage Voyage received on your end? How do you think we did?
Extremely positive.
Stop saying
I did a quick check before we hopped on here. We're up to 20 views. That's double the amount of people that are in the league. So yeah. I'd call that a success first time around. We loved hearing the feedback just in the group chat and everywhere else. So we can't do it without you guys. And we're looking forward to plenty of more episodes this year.
That's it. Plenty more episodes. And we'll get better, we promise. With this first segment here, this is really kind of our first look at the league here in our third week. I know last week was kind of in the midst of some very close and hard-fought battles. With that being said, we're going to roll out a new segment here. It's called Turning Two, where we're going to look back at the past few weeks, where all of the teams stack up in the division. Kevin's going to take one. I'll take the others, and the viewers at home, those 20 folks, they can yell at us from their YouTube screen. Kevin, take the NL division and start us off. How did it go last week?
This is going to be a bloodbath of a division. I mean, let's just be honest here. We could start out with number one overall right now. I think number one in a lot of people's hearts, Polar Pete's. Really starting off the season strong. He comes in, beats Hot Ice, has strong performances from Suzuki, Jose Ramirez. He's just that guy that's going to kind of be like your anchor all year. Goes into week two, beats No Crying in Jersey. Yeah. That's where the Polar Pete's name kind of really showed up. Pete Alonso. I think he got 116 points, had 4 home runs. Really kind of just turned it on, and he's going to have a big year. So I think, he's going to be, a force to be reckoned with as he's showing. No better way to start the season.
How do you got him going the remaining 2 games? What's your predictions there?
Yeah, and we'll talk about Air Jordan, in a little bit. He's Polar Pete's currently down to him right now. Mm-hmm. I think that could swing either way. Could be his first L of the season, but
wow.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be tight either way. That's going to be one of those, 10, 20-point matchups, I think, just with, a few games remaining going into the weekend. But week 4, he's going against Sean. I know you'll be discussing him in a little while over in the American League. Another solid squad. So I think that's going to be a good battle, a good test for both teams there.
What do you got for a record? Give me it. What do you think he does?
I'll say he'll split it down the middle. I think his first loss is going to come somewhere, in these next 2 weeks. My guess is he'll lose in a tight one this week, but he'll rebound against Sean next week.
Wow. We
just hit on Hot Ice. Obviously a tough loss to start the season to Polar Pete's. He still had, strong performances from Walker, Marte, Riley. I think these were guys we talked about in the first episode that were going to be difference makers. Just wasn't enough. But rebounded pretty well against USeeks. I think this is kind of a budding rivalry that we're going to kind of see, some tough battles throughout the rest of the season. Potentially, a playoff matchup down the road if your squad can kind of turn things around. But, Nemo, Kyle Tucker, I mean, these were guys that kind of showed up for him in week 2. Right now, it's another tight matchup with No Crying in Jersey. And I'm going to talk about him next, but I think this would be a huge victory for James if he could pull this out. Yeah. Next week he's got Brando. personally, I know how tough Brando is as a matchup.
Yeah.
Got kind of burned by him last week, but that's going to be a battle, in week 4. James knows how to work the waiver wire. They're going to obviously duke it out, but I think,
What do you got for a record? He's beating around the bush.
Really,
give me a record, Kevin. Who do you got?
Toss up right now. I'll say same thing. He splits it. I think he's going to beat Brando next week, though.
Stunt 101. All right. Next up.
No crying in Jersey. Continuing the theme of beating up on Seeks, was able to beat him in week 1. Garcia, Mookie Betts, kind of that 2-headed monster who, I think those are going to be kind of his anchors for the year. Yeah. Tough loss to Polar Pete's in week 2. But, Albies, Pavetta both got on the DL. I got to check to see where things stand right now in terms of like the matchup. He's going against Hot Ice. That's that type matchup we had talked about. Yeah. I think he'll take it still, even with some of these injuries, and then he's got you in week 4. That could go either way, but I do like you on the other side of that one. Something's just telling me you're gonna be riding a little wave, especially after this week. So we talked about Air Jordan a little previously. Tough loss to Jazzy Ding Dongs, who had Ozuna go off. I mean, there was solid pitching. Simeon, Freeman, both had strong weeks. Wasn't enough, but that week 2 matchup, I think this was one a lot of us had eyes on.
Yeah.
I think there were some side texts going on about it too, but he ended up beating the commish by 1 point.
I know. I heard about it.
Yeah, and I know the commish wasn't too happy. I know we had him on in week 1. I know he's kind of riled up a little bit about it, but despite some bad pitching, was able to kind of ride Simeon, Alvarez, Westberg, all did well. Can he take down Polar Pete's this week? That's the big question. I think he can. Yeah, I think,
record. What do you think?
I think he's going to take down Polar Pete's, but then he's got yours truly next week. It's going to be a tight one, but I like my team. I think I have some guys that are really kind of hitting their groove at the right time here. So I'm going to give myself the win, but I think he's going to split it down the middle as well. And we'll just finish it out with the old Seaside Sluggers. You lose to No Crying in Jersey, despite Harper, Cruz, Stanton, and some good pitching. That's got to be tough. And then you lose to James.
We fought back.
You fought back, but just wasn't enough. Wasn't really particularly close against James, though. And I think that's one that's going to kind of sting you for a little bit. But this week I think you're gonna take down Brando. Wow. Harper. And that solid pitching that we've talked about already a bunch of times. I think it's gonna carry you in there, and then No Crying in Jersey. Like I said, I think you're gonna beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're gonna beat him. I think that there's just going to be plenty of stuff to talk about in the next episode about that matchup. But yeah, again, crazy division. We got Polar Pete's up top, overall, and then, otherwise it's 5, 6, 7, and 9 in the standings. So everyone's got a little work to do, but, plenty of baseball ahead.
Awesome, man. Yeah, the AL here. This is someone that we really wanted on the podcast. A little bit of a spoiler. Sean's spectacular team. He will be the next coach that we interview. Unfortunately, can't make it. We're not going to have a coach this week, just in his honor. But this is the hottest guy in the league right now, man. 2-0, number 1 in the standings. I did a little bit of playing around. We have this value-based ranking. It's VBR. It tells you kind of how your players stack up. He has the top 3 most productive players in the league in Gunnar Henderson, Ryan McMahon, and Spencer Steer, believe it or not. Those are 2 guys that are raking well above where they were projected to be. My key to his 2-0 start, player I hold this guy near and dear to my heart. He swiped him right before I could. Teoscar Hernandez, 6th overall in our league. He's currently in a nail biter right now with our commissioner. And next week, playoff potential between him and Polar Pete's 1v2. My prediction for our next episode, Sean's spectacular team, the only undefeated team at 4-0.
Wow.
So I got him winning both games.
Kamish going to 0-3.
Mish going 0-3. Potentially, we'll see. To the man whose eyes are wandering right in front of me, Kev Dog, you have a very respectable 1-1 record. Your 1-2 punch of Soto and Shohei definitely were as advertised. They have the next highest VBR in our league. You actually, I look at this stuff, but have the league leading in points. Unsung hero, he just went down as a Sox fan. It's terrible, but Tyler O'Neill leading the league in home runs and unfortunately IL stints. You got this tough matchup against Jazzy Ding Dongs, and you got that revenge game against the new guy in the league that there's Scuttle. He had your name to start the year. I have you winning both games. Kevin, my co-host, 3-1 next week, or next episode, I should say. It's just prediction. We'll see if you live up to the hype. Next down, Boss Brando. This is a guy who's always making moves. I know this because I'm playing him this week. He's very strategic, very tactical. He has the next highest point total after yours. Put some respect on some pitchers. He kind of has a holy trinity, Peralta, Joe Ryan, and Glass now, amongst all of the others he's picking up on the waiver wire. Those pitchers lead the league in value-based ranking as well. Reason for all those points comes from an unsung hero, Colton Cowsner on the Orioles. He almost has 200 points already this year. There's only a few players right now that have 200 points. That's a big reason why he's been scoring. He has a very close matchup against me this week and then against Hot Ice. I have him splitting the games. I will let the kids at home decide which game he wins and which game he loses. You can take a guess. For a buy or sell segment, every show has commercials. This is going to be a special buy and sell segment. I am selling Zoom. For whatever reason, Zoom cut out my segment on Jazzy Ding Dongs. Good friend of mine, dear friend of mine, guy that I communicate on and off the show. Hand up accountability. I got to record it, man. It's a Saturday. It's a beautiful Saturday, but here we are. This is a coach that respectively needs his shine here. Though he's currently 8th in the league, I got him in the 4th spot in the power rankings. Just a guy that really stacked up his team here. This was a tough break for him. Alvarez, bright spot in the Mets lineup, just went down. If you need a catcher, buddy, I gotcha. We'll explore that in a different session here. Goldie in the 1, man. JT coming off a great year with the Sox. He's got Gorman at third base. Volpe, man. Volpe is someone that's having a great year, just got moved to the top of the Yankees lineup. You got this guy, man. I coveted Acuña. I want Acuña. I'm going to get Acuña. Face of the league. No doubt our first pick for you. And then we got this guy, Acuña, man. A lot of people might not have known. Number 1 in the league, dude. Number 1 in your hearts. Just an absolute stud. Jazz, the swaggiest guy of them all. Devers is a guy that's going to come back and be that third base staple there. Same with Sean Murphy. You got to look at this guy's pitching rotation here, man. Corbin Burns, Snell, the Cy Young winner. Evaldi, double champion there. Verlander, we've all seen Kate Upton in those videos. Just a guy that knows how to work a 2-pitch count, man. And then this is a guy that's relatively active on the wire, man. He's getting up early. Framber is going to come back better than ever. Scherzer, Kodai, DeGrom, Clayton. If you're counting them out now, you're an absolute fool. Ding Dongs, my deepest apologies, man. This was a big miss on Zoom's account. I'm the throat to choke. So my apologies there. Love you, brother. We'll talk to you later this weekend. Then looking down to our basement, we have our dear commissioner. He is working to fight his way back up. He does get some points, though, and he does so. We called it kind of the steal of the draft when we had him on our show. Michael Trout, 8th best player in the league right now as far as the points are concerned. Not someone that we saw dropping to 0-2. I think you could agree there. Reason has to be best pitcher in the league. So they said. Strider going down with an injury. So we're just focusing on the why he's 0-2. Trevor Story, shoulder separated, done for the year. You look at his pitching lineup, the IL is filled up. And then you're looking at what he's doing next, right? He has tough matchups, man. Tough. I'm fading them both matchups. You don't even have to look at them. I have that commissioner going and being the only team to not win a game. So we'll have a 4-0
Wow.
and 0-4 coach. With no disrespect, but hopefully that's the wake-up call he needs.
Sometimes you just can't avoid the injury bug. You draft well, you have a good strategy going into the season, and sometimes luck just doesn't go your way. But I think I agree with you there. I think it's going to be a really tough hill to climb, and he's going to need that luck to start swinging the other way really quickly.
Yeah, I would say so. So that's your past look back at how things have fared and kind of our predictions moving forward. Like I shared, I always knew to start the year that Sean would be kind of the first coach not named the commissioner. He unfortunately, it didn't work out with the times, but I did want to highlight another coach, man. I have my newborn son. He's a fur baby. I'll bring on Gatsby to end the show. But I've been lacking sleep. This guy needs to go to the bathroom every 2 hours. So sleep is of the essence for me. And this is where my real, we'll call it it's like a Red Sox Yankees, it's harmless, but he's a rival. He woke me up at 3 a.m, Kevin, to pick up a pitcher when I was facing him. He is supposedly a really close friend of yours, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to tell him this when I call him, but I am going to tell you this in the forefront, why this was an impactful night for me. And again, hand up accountability. I usually put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I think just having to get up, it wasn't on Do Not Disturb. He woke up my fiance, and she was pissed.
You're a father now, Jordan?
Yeah.
You're a father now.
I know.
And you're still acting like an infant!
God damn it! Baby, you got real anger issues. You got
Who is the one who flew in here at 3 a.m. on their stupid helicopter and woke up Skylar?
She was pissed. Who the? She does not like James. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. And again, you have people in the past, I think that were on the West Coast, that it's 1 a.m. when it's 3 a.m. here. But I'm giving him a chance to tell us why he gets up at 3. We love the show. We do the show. We love fantasy football. I don't love fantasy football enough to pick up someone on the waiver wire at 3 a.m. But
let's get to the bottom of it.
Let's get to the bottom of this. Is right. With that being said, Mr. Hot Ice is underway right now. Coach Hot Ice, how are you? You got Coach Seeks and then you got Coach Kevin here.
Good to talk with you, fellas. How's it going?
We're doing
good.
Well. And I want this on record. This is not your coach's interview. This is a kind of a hot.
This is a check-in.
This is a check-in, if you will. And I feel like living in America, you should always give someone the benefit of the doubt. But you're getting kind of on the Hot Ice seat, if you will.
I hear you. Yeah.
Now, I don't think Kevin prepped you. This is completely out of left field. I'm done with the baseball puns. But do you know why you're getting the call right now?
Don't know.
This is the man up against the wall. So last week, new puppy. I'm lacking on sleep. I got to take this dog out every couple of hours. So sleep is limited for me. And again, I called it out. Hand up accountability. Did not put on Do Not Disturb. You woke me up at 3 a.m. to pick someone up on the waiver wire. What the hell are you doing up at 3 a.m.? Are you a baker? Tell us. What's going on?
I've been just waking up randomly throughout the night, and woke up around 3 and remembered that, hey, I think that's when things kind of flip over on Yahoo. Let's see what's out there. And the rest is history. But you should also know that, Polar Pete there, he's doing this exact same thing.
I caught on.
Whoa.
I'm a fool to do your dirty work. Go, yeah. I don't want to do your dirty dirty work.
Yeah, so that's where the bar
Six
is.
left
now,
that part of
and-
the story out.
Well,
Mhm.
well, he's like more of a 459. Now that I know players are doing that, and again, we'll say this, we love the it's a very active league, like waiver wire. You gotta get pitchers if you want to be in it. You're definitely one of those coaches, so we respect the move for sure.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, if I'm already up, if I'm just waking up randomly, then, no harm. Yeah, I feel fine with it. honestly, I respect the game from Polar Pete. I think, this morning he and I were looking at I think he picked up Clark Schmidt and I got a Turnbull there. So, I got to respect going with the Yankees pitcher. Schmidt's been good, much better than he was last year. But, I'm rolling with Turnbull this time. But it's nice seeing some streamers early in the morning.
Awesome. Kev, you got anything for Hot Ice?
I just wanted to hear if Hot Ice had any feedback from that pounding last week against you, kind of what his feelings were coming out of that week.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yeah, no, that was a close one. I think, Seeks and I, we traded back and forth. There were times where he was up big and then I was up big. And I feel like we really gave each other, a pretty hefty competition there. So, I think things have been tighter than I realized heading into this. I thought there was going to be some big blowouts here and there, but a lot of parity in the league, which I like to see. And, unfortunately for me, a lot of that's, I felt like I've got some injuries. Obviously, I don't need to speak to some people, around the league who've had much worse injuries. Like, obviously, Strider going down, that's terrible. But, Josh Young being out for me, having Luis Robert Jr. out, that's been tough. So you got to make your bones on the waiver wire, and I respect a lot of the game in the league.
Well, James, I'll see you at 3 a.m. This following morning. We appreciate you hopping on. Kevin, anything for Hot Ice before he goes?
No, I just think it's those types of transactions, that kind of attitude that get you into the playoffs, that get you far. So we really appreciate that hustle, and you're a valued member of the league, James.
Oh, appreciate it. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
Take care.
My fiance says thank you too, James. I know he watches the show. I did my best to smooth it over. She's still in a bad spot. But this was another segment that Kevin and I talked through. This guy is just, how can you describe ding dongs? Because I feel like you can do it best right here. This is a very loud guy.
Yeah, very, kind of wears his heart on his sleeve. I think you know what you're getting with him. Another valued member of the league. I mean, this is like one of those guys where if you didn't have him, it's really kind of not the same. So, yeah.
We did. So Kevin and I, before the show, for context, he was selling Acuña, apparently. I don't know if it was a trolling move or if it was serious. But we're like, let's call him out of the blue and without warning, strike up a trade with him.
Hey, hello.
Coach Dongs, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
You're doing well. You got myself and you got Coach Kevin in the co-host chair joining you.
Jazzy, how we doing?
I'm here with a special guest myself.
You can drop names.
We got the Polar Pete's.
No way.
William.
Wow.
Here in attendance with us.
Wow.
What's going on?
What a treat.
Well,
First place himself.
Yes. Yep. We got a full guest here. I don't know if we'll tap him in, but we got to be honest with you. Kevin and I, we didn't prep you on the segment. We talked through it. We're looking to trade with you right now live.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to let Kevin's kind of got more of a modest deal. So I'm going to let him propose it to you first. And then you got one from the big dog. I'll send you something too.
All right. Let's hear it.
Kevin,
I'm open to anything.
Talk through.
So as we were just talking about, Anthony Volpe, he's a guy that personally, as a player, I love the guy. I'm probably going to get his jersey at some point. He's been doing well. I'm not sure what it would take. I just talked about the fact that, Corey Seager, who's obviously one of the best, shortstops in the world. He's someone that I'd be willing to talk about if you were interested in him, but maybe we could kind of throw in some other guys around it as well. I think we'd have to do that to kind of make it work. I wouldn't go 1-to-1 on it. But what were your thoughts there?
Okay. I'm interested in it. You like him. He's doing really good. He's got moved up to number 1 in the lineup.
Ooh.
He's been going crazy. I don't know. I got him and Dansby. I'm pretty stocked at shortstop.
Ooh.
I'm really open to moving Acuña though, if that's who the crazy deal
All
is
right,
for.
Kevin, park your deal right now.
Gosh, my boy, I'd love to give you that. A new car!
I got some horses in the stall. If we're talking about Ronald Acuña, I'm well open for business.
I would need at least 2 superstars in return for him. That man, he is.
I don't disagree. Were there people on my team that you love?
I definitely like Zach Gallen if you're open to moving him.
Gallon's out there. He's my workhorse for Acuña. He's in the conversation. So Gallon's out there.
I think we have the framework of a deal.
I'm thinking I would need like Gallen and like Ellie.
Ellie and Zach for Acuña.
He is swinging for the fences on that one.
That would be enough to get the deal done. I don't know.
Just for a deal this massive, this could probably go offline. But Zach, the players on my team, I'm open for two for one for Acuña. I think we need Acuña.
I would definitely need to do my research before I like hard agree to anything, but I definitely kind of like that framework, somewhere around Acuña for Gallen and like Ellie or something around that.
We'll do this.
Throw in Stanton if you would want to move him. That would be pretty tempting for me.
So the podcast, fingers crossed, comes out on Sunday. What I'll do for the league.
I could also throw people into that too.
Yeah. Let's do this. We'll have you and I have now till the podcast will be kind of like this episode's trade deadline, and we'll try and get a deal done. I'll put everything in the podcast. Awesome. Well, look, we got some other segments. We respect you. We love how open for business you are, how active you are. Kevin and I will be throwing some trades at you, but we appreciate you.
Absolutely. Everybody's on the board.
That's it. All right.
Thanks for the time, Dongs.
I hear anything from Billy before you go?
Yes, please.
Here you go. What's up, fellas?
Give me some words, Billy Ward, because we're running out of time. We got 10 minutes left. You make it quick, but make it meaningful.
I hope everyone is enjoying playing ball. Let's keep it rolling this season.
Let's go. Billy, just quick question for you on the way out. Do you like the makeshift project or ranking stuff? Do you like that segment?
Yes, I do very much. I like that. Yeah.
You'll like this week's then. All right, fellas, we'll talk soon. I think I can get Acuña, man. I think I can. You got to make that.
He's right. Yeah. I think that there's something there. I think, from my side, that might just be more of like a, we kind of maybe re-explore it in a couple of weeks kind of thing.
Sure.
But you open the dialogue, you see where it takes you. That's what really we want to create here on the pod, is just more of that spirit of, getting creative, maybe making some trades,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Having a different team, by the end of the season than what you drafted. So we'll see what happens.
We are going to go to our makeshift project segment here. We'll come up with a good name for it. I feel like we kind of owe them rights to that name, but this is the last week we're doing a baseball segment. I originally was going to have you rank ballparks, a little bit of a snooze fest. There's some really good ones out there, and I encourage you to go elsewhere to go watch some baseball. But this one, I'm going to set a little bit of some preference. I was recently on the phone, and I was joined in by one of your siblings, not your brother, by your sister. Your sister,
Whoa.
Katie, well known in the YouTube industry. We'll drop some links in bio to some of her content. But this is going to be a kind of a unique scenario. We all have sisters out there. So these are players you would least or most want to date your sister, 1 through 5.
Wow.
I'm going to spin them out there. She might watch the episode and she'll definitely give her take as well. This guy right here was one of the few players I went by looks. It's kind of sick. It was ranked by fans. I'm guessing it's like wives or girlfriends as the hottest guy in the league.
Oh, okay.
Max Kepler. So from Germany, He is in the
Am
outfield.
I allowed to do a little Googling on the
Look
side
at
here?
him. Yeah, he's a good-looking cat. And I didn't realize, like, obviously I'm not thinking of Max Kepler. I'm like, what's he doing on the field? But where are you sticking him right now? 1 to 5. And 1 is like you would want him to date your sister. 5 is no way is this guy
Like,
even
stay away.
Stay
like,
away.
We're going to get the restraining order.
Yep.
This is going to be a tough ranking, and I do like the fact he's German. The Twins have always been like one of those teams I like semi-root for. Let's throw him at 2.
2.
We'll throw him at 2.
Okay. And I promised no Yankees.
Looks like a good young gentleman.
Good young gentleman. No Yankees, no Sox players.
Okay.
But a little tomfoolery here. I'm going to put Mookie Betts. Doesn't have his hair. Shorter guy, but like great at bowling. You can go bowling with him. He's got some sneaky riz to him too, I feel like.
It's like you don't want to like
I know.
take up the 1 spot this early. Mookie's just one of those former Boston guys that like you're supposed to like really dislike them, and you don't like him on the field real time, but off the field, how can you hate the guy? He's that guy that like, she'd probably get pissed because you're out golfing with him too much. You'd want to marry him yourself. I'm gonna throw him at 1.
That's smart. Mookie Betts in the 1. So your next one, Ohtani. A little like different flavor there. Like just got the bag. Very likable guy.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably have to like monitor it, make sure that she doesn't have the DraftKings app installed on her phone and all that kind of jazz. I think I'm gonna split it down the middle, put him at the 4 spot. He's had some stuff, kind of going on.
Okay.
Little language barrier there. I think the family reunions could get a little tough, but we'll put him at the 4.
Okay. So with guys that would date your sister, we have the 3 and the 5 spots. So kind of the guy in the middle of the pack and the guy stay away from my sister. This is a guy I've followed for a long time. He's also in that hot standings, breathtaking blue eyes, Kevin Kiermaier.
Kevin Kiermaier. Well, obviously he has a great first name.
Would you like him saying the same name though?
Not particularly, now that you say it.
Yeah.
He's only got a career 249 batting average. I mean,
yeah.
When I'm like bragging about the fact that my sister's guy is like a major leaguer, like he's got to be at least above 250. I'm throwing him at the 5.
Really?
Sorry, Kev. I'm throwing him at the 5. I'm putting total trust in you on this number 3, and that's always a risky move. It's not saving the 5th for last, but let's see what happens.
I was gonna like say Trevor Bauer, and I'm not doing it for obvious reasons. Your 3rd pick, he's an outfielder, Mr. Ronald Acuña. You said you like him.
Ronald Acuña.
You good with him being 3?
I am good with him being 3. Whether you get him on your team or not, whether he moves at all this year, I feel like that would be fun. I could see you could go jet skiing with him. I feel like there's like a lot of potential there in terms of like bringing him into the family. So I like that a lot. I like that list.
Good list. Yeah.
I'm glad I put Mookie first.
Me too. I feel like it's funny too because Billy's so gonna comment on this on like who he would have Heather date, and Jeremy can have words with him.
We want that, but please put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. We are running out of time for our recording session here, so I really sneaky liked our outro last week. So we do 1, 2, 3, and then we're out.
We're out.
All right. Good episode, man. Love seeing it. Is that a Yankees hat? Are you wearing any Yankees gear?
Nah.
Oh!
I'll show up next week. I'm not even going to turn around and embarrass myself, but it'll be back on next week.
Okay. All right. Well, you ready?
Yep.
I feel like we'll get down where we're not doing the counting anymore, but we still got to do it's like we're at T-ball right now.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
All right, ready?
Oh,
we're out.
Sorry. All right, one more time. No count. Ready? 1. Oh,
we're out.
That's how we ended. All right, thanks for joining, everyone. Have a great weekend. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
We're